Welcome to the Empower L podcast. I'm your host, Vero, and I'm so excited to have you join me on this journey of empowerment and growth. This podcast is designed for ambitious, high-achieving women who are ready to break free from overwhelm and step into their power. Together, we'll explore practical strategies, share inspiring stories, and hear from experts who can help you navigate the challenges of balancing ambition and well-being. Whether you're looking to cultivate confidence, transform your mindset, enhance your leadership skills, or find harmony in your life, this is the place for you. Let's dive in. And welcome to the Empower L podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to learn about something that could shift the way that you lead and live. I'm so excited for today's episode because I'm joined by someone who I really admire, and not just for what she's built, but for how she's built it. So Gina Keeping is an ex-classroom teacher turned business and mindset coach who helps women build businesses that feel good, that pay well, and that actually align with their lives without the chaos, the burnout, or always second guessing. And you know that aligns with Empower L very well. So she's known as a no BS business coach, a mindset expert, and a freedom first strategist. And what I love most about her approach is that she blends deep inner work with real strategy and systems, because you really can't grow a sustainable business without both. She's also a Tony Robbins certified coach, which is something that really attracted me to her, if you will, the first time I met her. A transformational speaker, and founded the Business Circle, which is a community designed for entrepreneurs who want to grow smarter, not harder. And on a personal note, Gina is my mentor right now. She's the one who really helped me stop spinning my wheels and actually launch Overwhelmed to Organized so that I could actually help women for real. So this conversation is extra special. So Gina, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, well, what a beautiful introduction. My goodness. Thank you so much. And I'm honored to be here. When I think about the work that I do, sometimes I don't hear it that way. So it's so beautiful to hear that. So thank you for having me and for thinking about me.
You're welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. And it's true, right? When we hear that, when we hear someone else say it, but you had to live it and do it. So it's all true. And on that note, I would love to start with your story a little bit, because I know that we share some similarities. You went from being a teacher, even a vice principal, if I recall correctly, to building your own business. So can you take us back to kind of that moment in your life, what was going on behind the scenes, and how did you realize that something needed to change?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think my journey started where I was a vice principal and I was in my dream job. I had this moment where I was driving back from my work day and I was just like, this is it. This is what I'm meant to do. And my dad ended up getting sick and was diagnosed with cancer at a young age. He was 59 when he was diagnosed, and he was misdiagnosed. So it was a very confusing time where when we went up to visit him, Dad thought he was going to be okay, but he was misdiagnosed and was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I ended up becoming his caregiver, where I took leave from school and I was up there looking after him. And it was quite a journey of just really realizing how short life was. Unfortunately, my dad passed at the age of 59, and I grew up listening to my dad always say, when I retire, then I'm going to. So I had this in the back of my mind, but previous version of Gina was a workaholic. I was the yes woman. I was a perfectionist. I was a hustler 24/7, and it was just part of my identity. So after my dad passed, unfortunately, we had something very terrible happen to our family where his partner ended up taking everything belonged to our family.
Oh,
And it was a really long go where we were navigating, or I was navigating the criminal system. I was learning to understand law in a different province. And we had a lawyer for a little while, and then I ran out of money because I didn't have any of my dad's assets, and then had to, I guess not had to, but I chose to represent my dad's estate because I was his executor. Like I planned his funeral with him, I did his will with him, like I was the person who did all of those things. So after he had passed, there was a day when I got a knock on my door, and was served papers realizing that my dad's partner took everything belonged to the family. So in Gina fashion, like I just said, like I went to work to figure out how to rectify this for our family and to bring justice to my dad and to close the estate. So I started studying law after I let the lawyer go, and I just dedicated my whole entire life to figuring this out. This went on for a year and a half. I was still vice principal at this time, so during my recess breaks, I remember studying law. I put myself in the back burner. I stopped playing my sports, and I really just dove into this idea of I had to figure this out. I didn't grieve my dad the
yeah.
day that I found out he passed. I actually had to come back to Newfoundland for a week, and within that week, he passed
Okay.
because I ran out of sick leave, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my goal was the last day of school, I was going to go back to Nova Scotia, and he passed. And I got up and I went into work. I just wore all these masks and didn't show any emotion because it was how I was grieving. So all
Mhm.
that happened, and I went to Nova Scotia. I won the court case. I'll just be very brief on these discussions. I went up and I won. He had a lawyer, of course, because he had all of Dad's money, and I ended up winning the court case. And after that, I was like, okay, it was a year and a half of misery, but me and my husband decided to go to Mexico for Christmas. And I really truly thought that I could just take a week and I would be
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So we went to Mexico. We had a great time. We just relaxed, and it was just like what I needed because I was literally giving everything that I had for a year and a half, 2 years. And when I came back from Mexico and we boycotted Christmas, I was walking down the corridor of my school, and it was like I was hit by a transport truck.
Mhm.
And I had to call my husband to come pick me up, and I didn't know what was going on. And I went to my doctor, and I was diagnosed with situational anxiety, situational depression, and situational PTSD.
Okay.
And I couldn't work. I
Yeah.
couldn't go to the place that provided me comfort, that was my identity. And I went through a very dark time where I couldn't do the one thing that I was really good at, and
Mhm.
I didn't have my identity. And there was a moment I remember like looking at myself in the mirror, not knowing who that woman was, looking back at me, and it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And I still remember the moment of like, this is not going to define me. I used to be like a really bubbly, fun woman and went from somebody who couldn't even leave the house. It's like I didn't recognize myself, and I didn't know how to ask for help because I was always a person who gave the help.
Yes.
Right? So, and part of my identity was that I had to be the strong person. So it was really hard for me to even ask for support or receive support. But I had a moment where I was like, this is not going to define me. And I started looking for why this was happening to me.
Mm.
And I went to my doctor, and my doctor was like, Gina, you really need to learn how to relax. And I remember her telling me, maybe you should try meditating. And I remember getting on the mat and being like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And I was having like a come to Jesus moment with myself where I was like, I don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
And on a whim, at that time, I was also doing, I was a Beachbody coach. So I was in the online space and was growing my business that way. So it wasn't like my real business, it was like an MLM.
Yeah.
And I had this opportunity to go see Tony Robbins. And in that, I wasn't working and I was so desperate, and we were financially strapped because I was on, long-term disability at that point. And my husband came in one day and he gave me a check. And the check was the amount of the ticket for the Tony Robbins event. And remember, at this point, I couldn't leave my house very well. I was really struggling with anxiety, depression, all the things. But I got on a plane by myself and I went to a Tony Robbins event. And it changed my life. It was the catalyst that started my healing. Everything that I was doing here traditionally was not really helping. So this started that journey. And when I went down, I knew that this is how I wanted to help people. And I started the journey of sharing what I was doing because my life literally started to transform. And so then became my life coaching business. And there's so much more that happened in between there, but for the sakes of the episode, I'll kind of keep it there. So I started my life coaching business and I got myself back to teaching, and then I was growing this business on the side, and I had clients like all over the world, and I was helping people in different ways that I really needed at the time when I was going through my time. And then I always knew that I needed to leave teaching. And I remember even after going back to teaching, there was a hole in my heart where I knew I didn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
And in all of that, part of the story was that when I did get sick, I didn't have any support either. And I had to really deal with this on my own. I really, really struggled with my employer. And I went from being the woman who walked in the room, people going, "Oh, I know who you are," to people not wanting to help me because it was mental health and it was stress. And it was devastating what had to happen in between. Like I had to move to BC for a year because I wasn't allowed to go back to teaching, but they cut off my long-term and short-term disability. So I had no support.
Yeah.
So when I went back, it was so hard to, number one, be okay with how the system operated. And then once you are treated that way, it was really hard to want to stay.
Yeah.
And I would cry on my way to work. And then I would walk over to my husband's work and I would cry till I got there. And then I would grow my business. And so I was doing this for a while. And then the pandemic hit. And I don't want to downplay how the pandemic was for anybody else, but for me, it was the biggest blessing
Yeah.
that I could have ever asked for. Because during the pandemic, um, I'm also, I have fibromyalgia, so I wasn't able to get all of the immunizations. And when we were going back to work, I wasn't allowed to actually go to work. But what was happening, I kind of skipped a part there, but when we did go online, everybody was coming to me because I was already online. So I was
Yeah.
teaching the teachers how to teach online. And then as businesses were closing, people were coming to me going, "Gina, how do you have a digital business? Like, how are you doing this?" So then I started teaching business owners. And it just kind of spiraled from there, this business component. I was helping people left, right, and center, still teaching digitally. But then when it was time for me to go back, because I didn't have my needles and I didn't have that extra support, my doctor wouldn't let me go back in the classroom, and they didn't give me any accommodations.
Right.
So I applied for a year leave of absence and I got it. And then I was like, we were still in the middle of the pandemic and I couldn't go back after that. So I quit and have been full time in my business doing this. And it's growing and evolving. But Essentially, that's what got me here. There's so many other parts in the story, of
Of
course.
course.
It was hard to know which parts to share in that.
I know, and I didn't know like every part of your story, obviously, and that's a lot, and I'm sorry that you had to go through all of that, but I feel like a lot of us in this space or in a similar space that we're in, we typically do go through some of those things that kind of push us out of what we're doing currently and into something new, right? Um, so once you made the decision, or maybe we're somewhat forced into the decision of like going full time in your business, like how did that actually look for you? Because I think a lot of women kind of feel the pull of wanting to do something different, or I know for me, even for a long period of time, I knew that I didn't belong where I was, but I didn't know where I belonged and like what to do. And I think a lot of women feel stuck in the like, okay, I want to do something else, but how do I do something else? So yeah, speak to that a little bit.
I think it's definitely a challenge, right?
Yeah.
And as adults, we really rely on logic.
Yes. Too much
And
sometimes.
I think so because every decision that I've made, to get me to where I was in my education profession, like with that profession, I mean, I was a vice principal at the age of 29. Like
Yeah.
logic got me far,
Yeah.
hustle got me far, right? So learning to trust my intuition, but more deeply learning to trust myself became a muscle that I had to work because, I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I really didn't. And I think sometimes we can get so caught up in the how that the how actually stops us from starting,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And for me, I think I had to stop looking at, well, if this happens, then, what could happen out there? That was causing me to be in a tizzy where I was always waiting for the external validation to determine if I was going to be successful. But the shift that I made internally was like, no, 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 I'm going to put the trust in myself because I know no matter what, I'm going to do what it takes to succeed. I'm not going to say that I'm only going to give this 3 months. Like, there is no out. Like, this
Yeah.
is, I'm going to succeed in this. And I think for me, I've had to unpack this because a lot of people ask me this question. I think for me is like, I am willing to do anything to kind of get me to where I want to go. Like when I went back to teaching and when I was leaving and I didn't have my business where I wanted, where I wanted to be, my husband and I did a paper route. Like we almost lost my house because
Wow.
I couldn't teach anymore. So like
Yeah.
I've got my hands dirty. I'm not afraid
Yeah.
of getting my hands dirty. I've let go of, what are people going to think?
Yeah.
Most people want the dream, but won't do what's required to have it. And I think that's something that I've just built. It's like I'm not beyond doing a paper route if I need to.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I'm not successful.
Yeah.
If I have to do this in between to help and make the difference that I'm making now, it's all worth it. If I lose everything tomorrow, I know I can rebuild it. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So I think it's internal. And I think
I agree.
in terms of strategy, I think any strategy will work. Like it really will. You just got to be able to do it. And I think this is why the mindset piece is so important because if you don't have the mindset and the trust in yourself, no strategy will work.
Yeah.
So I just know how to get my hands dirty. I'm not afraid of working hard, and I know I'm going to figure it out one way or the other. And it's a combination of like trusting myself too and not making a story up about the hard things because we do that. Like we're the ones that make the suffering extra hard.
Yeah.
So I've worked really hard not to make a story up around the hardships. Like one of the lines that I keep telling myself is that if the good things are happening for me and if I'm going to hold the belief that when things work out, that's for my best self, then I got to believe that when things aren't working out, that's for my higher good too.
Yeah.
Right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's really like getting this down and really challenging my beliefs. And, it doesn't happen by accident. I do a lot of daily rituals that prime my brain.
Yeah.
I used to fight competitively, and I think that muscle too of like the visualization, the mental toughness, the mental resilience, I really truly feel like that is what gets me here and it's where it's
Yeah.
going to get me in the future. Like I just really spend intentional time strengthening that and not letting other people put their doubts on me or their limitations. Yeah.
I love that. I think it's such a big thing. Like, there's so many people that struggle with what other people are going to think of them, especially when they make a shift. I know when I started to make the shift, yes, I had that, but I also had the like, but what do I think of me? Because
Yeah.
like kind of similar to you, like I got my first like management position at 28, and it was like I was doing great. Everything looked great on the
Yeah.
outside. It was like one of the best jobs you could have as an accountant in town, and then it was like, okay, but I've worked so hard my whole life to be here and to have like the prestigious job, and like I think at that point in time that it makes me feel good and that it makes me who I am. So it's like how am I okay with this on top of what other
Mhm.
people are going to think? There's definitely a lot of work there, but um,
Yeah.
so I'm curious, like I know that you now work with so many ambitious women and entrepreneurs, and I'd like to know like what you see most often right now. Like what are women going through?
Oh, I think, oh God, I could go so many different
I
directions
I know.
here. But I gotta be honest, I think what I see the most is the belief.
Yeah.
I think, and this is for me too, like I think we
Yeah.
all need people to pour into us and to maybe see what sometimes we can't see. Like we're all just conditioned beings and we all carry things with us that can make business really hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like the ladies in my community, I think part of why they're thriving is because everybody is rallying around each other and it's
Yeah.
not, it's almost like the tribe idea of like really supporting women. When I came into the business space, one of the things that I found that was heartbreaking for me was there was a tagline of women supporting women, but there's also a line like if you cross here,
Yeah.
like then you're no longer being celebrated. Then you're like the crab in the bucket. Like people are trying to pull you down, and I was shocked by that because you know most of my female friends are athletes and we can either compete against each other or we're competing with each other or we're on the same team and it doesn't matter if you're ahead or behind. There's always this mentality of like the hand's always behind, pulling another woman
Yeah.
forward for the most
Yeah.
part. So I really struggle with that. So I wanted to create this space for women to come in and be coached and be challenged and also be celebrated. And I feel more than anything, women just need that. Women need other women in their corner
Yeah.
rallying and supporting them and pouring belief into them because if we look around, there's so many reasons for us to believe negatively about ourselves. Like it's kind of hard not to fall into that trap.
Yeah.
And I really feel like if we're going after our goals and our dreams, we just need to borrow that belief sometimes. So I feel that part number one, like I really feel you cannot outrun or outwork a mindset or an identity. So I really feel like this internal game is so important. And when you can lean into that, I think the other part becomes easy or easier. You know what I mean? Um, so I feel like helping women with the internal piece is everything and
Yeah.
overcoming blocks and like I talk a lot about like the CEO and the employee. There are things that we have to do as business owners that are so new to us. There's so many skills. So like we're constantly being exposed.
Yeah.
We're constantly being beginners, right? So it's really hard to navigate that. So I think the internal piece is definitely something that I'm seeing. But then in terms of like the how, we are like there's so many things that we could be doing or that we should be doing and marketing has gotten really good, so a lot of women are really confused about like what is that next step, like how do I move forward. So I find one of my secret sauces is really helping my ladies have this laser focus and go, nope, we're not doing that now, we're not doing this is where we're
Yeah.
going. And when women have that laser focus, I get results. So, yeah, I feel like it's twofold. I feel the identity, the mindset, the being exposed, the beginner, and then knowing, okay, Oh, that was you. I
And
didn't know
they're
what
my dogs. Yeah, I'm sorry. I kicked them out of my office, but still,
I thought it was mine. I was like, what
oh,
is that?
fine. I just ignore them. It is
They're
what
too
it
cute.
is.
But yeah, I think it's that, and then what to focus on because
Yeah.
there's so much information, right?
There is.
Yeah, so I think those two things for sure, and I think yeah, I'll keep it there for the
Yeah.
two main things that I'm seeing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I really agree with them. Like I think, and when we started working together, um, I mean, mindset will forever be important, and you never arrive. Like you always have to work on
Agreed.
that. But that's a lot. I had done a lot of that work. For me, it
Yeah.
was like the how. Like I remember our first meeting. I don't know if you remember this, but it marked me. Our first meeting when I was kind of telling you where I was going, and then I had this big idea of this like big 20-week program and really wanted to
Mhm.
transform women. And as soon as you asked me like who is your ideal client, and I said overwhelmed women, and then you said like and a 20-week program, like you just said that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Like it's so obvious when someone else like says it to you. So I think as much as like you said, like sometimes yeah, you have to borrow the belief, but like those little moments of strategy, and now to like, okay, now I have this one thing to focus on, and you focus on that and only that and go, right?
Yeah.
Makes such a big difference. It's funny you just talked about CEO, and I kind of chuckled because that was my next question. Because you talk about often about women stepping into their CEO era,
Mhm.
but without losing their freedom, which is a really powerful concept and something that I really, really believe in as well.
Mhm.
So I want to know for you, like, what does that actually look like for you
Yeah,
or for the women that you help and
absolutely.
coach?
I do want to show you. So we call it the CEO.
Love it.
So these are branded hats. But yeah, so the thing with the CEO or CEO mentality, I feel it is so important because when people come into business, mostly women in particular, we come in because we have a passion to help or to serve or to really transform people's lives. Like it's usually a heart-centered reason when we come
Yeah.
in. And then what happens is we get caught up in the daily things. We work like an employee because that's all that we know. And I see this so often that it breaks my heart that a lot of businesses will shut down because they don't know how to step away from the employee piece. And what happens is they think, well, this is just entrepreneurship. I'm just going to be working 30 hours a day, or they're not zooming out and looking at it from a business lens.
Yeah.
And it is so important. And my favorite thing, I have several clients this week who've said to me, Gina, I had no idea that systems was the thing that was going to get me
Yes.
freedom. And every time I hear that, I'm like, yes, like I think sometimes we think that organization is going to restrict us,
Yeah.
but it literally is the thing that gives you freedom.
Uh-huh.
So I feel like that conversation is so important and it's not talked about enough. But if I had a dollar for every business that shut down, that didn't work with me and just like try to do it on their own and just
Yeah.
focus on that, like it breaks my heart because
Yeah.
there's so much potential and we don't know any other way, but it's also safer for us to put our head down and ignore the business aspect, right?
Yeah.
And I teach things in a very digestible way because I need a digestible. Like
Yeah.
giving me a full on like marketing book, like that's not going to help me. So for
Yeah.
me, I have taken out all of the messy stuff and been like, okay, we need to focus on the key things here that you need. So I call them needle movers, right? And understanding how to pull that into your business. It's everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. I don't even think I answered your question there though.
Well, you did, but I'd love for you to share like a few
Yep.
actual examples that you have in your life and your business where you have systems that create freedom. Like,
Oh,
what
okay,
are
yeah.
some of those systems and what freedom do you actually get from it? Like, I know my audience loves like concrete examples, so I'd be
Oh,
curious for you to share a couple.
absolutely. Okay, I have so many. So you stop me when I'm telling giving you guys too many. So I think the very first thing that I started implementing was Fridays are my CEO days.
Okay.
Now, it didn't start with a full day. So even if you have like an hour where you're sitting down and do what I call working on the business, like,
Yeah.
okay, what's working? I have this form that my clients fill out inside the business circle and my one-on-one clients where it's like, what worked this week, what didn't work this week, and what am I changing moving forward? That tool in itself can transform your business because what happens is we just keep recycling the same mistakes over
Yes.
and over and over again, hoping that our business or our life is going to change. So by implementing this, you are getting information and concrete data of like, okay, this week I worked like 60 hours this week. That doesn't feel good. Okay, well, if that didn't work, what are we going to change about it? Well, maybe I need to only work on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Maybe I need to up my prices. You just
Yeah.
start asking yourself better questions to get you to your result, right? So that in itself, massive. I always get my clients to do an energy audit. So before we change anything, I'm like, okay, I want you to write out like where are you spending your time? Like I want to see it all. So when my clients come back, I get them to do that for a week. They hate it.
Yep.
And I'm like, I want to know everything. I want to know what time you went to the gym. I want to know how long. Like I want to know everything. Once I have it, my brain does this thing where I can look at your time and energy audit and I can see where your energy leaks are. So
Yeah.
the very first thing that I usually do when I have a client come into my world is that we have to see where we can create space for you. So then I look at this, I ask questions of like, where's your biggest energy leak? The other day I helped a client and she, I think, spent about 2 hours per client to onboard them into their world.
Yeah.
We now have a system where that is done automatically
Yeah.
and she saves 2 hours per client.
That's a
Think
lot.
about what you can do,
Yeah.
right? So I look at what we currently can do within the realms of their business, and then I walk them through some different processes where we look at then what needs to be delegated to a VA. What need like all these different things and bringing in the support. So that's one piece of it. I also do theme days.
Yeah.
So once you know your business well and once you clean up your business, you know your non-negotiables. So I work in small chunks.
Yep.
Right now, right now is a little bit of a busier season because I'm working on something in the background, which I'm excited about. But my normal work days, I do in like 2 hour chunks. Mondays, nothing goes in my calendars. Friday, nothing in my calendar. Monday is mapping out. I know exactly what I do on my Mondays. I know exactly what I do on my Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday is my CEO day. My business, I could hand over my business to somebody else and they could run it.
Yeah.
Right? So everything is organized. I don't wake up on a Monday or Tuesday and go, oh my God, what am I working on today? I literally go to my calendar. These are the things that I have to
Yeah.
get done, and boom. And then I'm able to be so efficient. But so many people waste so much energy on trying to figure things out. And this
Yeah.
is why a plan and laser focus is so important. One more thing I'll share. Sundays are the day where I take about 10 to 15 minutes and I map out my week and I look at what's coming up. I do my review of the week before and I constantly evaluate my energy leaks and look at how I can plug them. Because as you grow, you get new problems.
Yeah.
Right? So I constantly am looking at where my energy leaks are going. And then I always ask, is there a system that can do this? Can I automate it? Or does this belong to somebody else? I've gotten really good at delegating my low level tasks.
Yes.
And that has changed the game for me.
Yeah.
So those are some things, but like systems have changed my life.
Absolutely. I love systems and I love energy audits. There's a lot of things that I'm like, yes, like you are speaking my language. And then some things that I'm like, oh, this is for me. I want to write this down. I'll have to re-listen to that part. But it's so true. Like I say the same things to people. I'm like, systems scare or sound scary and being organized sounds scary. Like it sounds like you're gonna take away all the that I can't say that word as a French girl,
Yeah.
spontaneity.
I
Anyways,
can't say it as an English girl. So you're good.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say.
Spontaneous.
It feels like structure is going to take that away from your life,
Yeah.
but I feel like it actually allows you to be more spontaneous when you have that structure and, like you say, actually have more of that freedom. So
Yeah.
it's showing people how that can work.
Well, I don't
Um,
start work till 10 a.m. every morning, and I wouldn't be able to do that if
yeah.
I didn't have the structure. And
Yeah.
I love working with women who feel that systems and structure does not allow for that because I always bring them around and they're like, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, I had no idea. This is
Yeah.
how you get freedom." Right? And this is
Yes,
why I
it
call it
is.
like a freedom focused business because you can't
It
have freedom
is.
without this. You just can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Before we wrap up, I would
Yeah.
love for you to share more about the business circle.
Oh my
I've
gosh.
heard about it. I know it's a powerful space. I'm probably going to join it at some point.
Oh,
But I
boy.
just want to know, like, what is it, who it's for, and anything you want to tell us about the business circle.
Oh, okay. You need to get in the business circle. Like you got to get
Yes,
your bum in there.
I will. I
It,
will.
well, it's essentially it's the space that I never had when I was growing my business that I wish I had. And when before I created this, I actually interviewed, I'd say about 20 of my past clients, and I just asked them a bunch of questions on like what they needed, like what would help them. So I have to give my clients props to this because they helped me create the business circle.
Yeah.
This is created for them by them, and I have to be honest, it's probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever created. So it combines community. I will die on this hill that we have the best community ever inside there.
Yeah.
We have coaching, we have strategy, we have resources. Like it like if you're not in there and you're not and your business owner, like you are completely missing out.
Yeah.
You can go in there and the price point, every coach that I work with tells me that the price point is ridiculous, but it's to me it just feels really good to be able to support my ladies and then to have a forever home because a lot of coaching packages you're paying 6 7 figures and I'm totally okay with that, but I wanted to be different and I wanted to create a space where they can come and they can land and they can stay and they can grow and scale their businesses. So it's a beautiful place where we really have everything inside. We have a social media expert where we do trainings and they answer questions. They help you optimize and plan. We have a tech person where we do tech calls and you can get on and get your tech questions, like all of the energy leaks that people usually try to do themselves. It's created for that. You can pop on a call and have your question answered in 2 minutes instead of trying to figure it out yourself for hours,
Yeah.
right? And you have access to me. There's weekly calls, there's community, there's just so much happening in there. But I think the most beautiful thing are the relationships that happen and the business growth. Like it is such a special place and yeah, I mean, I love it. And the ladies love it. Like it's
Yeah,
so
that's
beautiful.
powerful, right? To have,
Yeah.
like you say, like, yes, it's community, but like it's so much more than that too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I guess too, like it's for the woman who does want to grow and scale her business,
Yes.
who wants to be around people who are doing amazing things. Like we have business owners who are brand new and we have people doing multi-million dollars in there.
Yeah.
And it's just such a beautiful community where you can go in there with a problem and then your problem is solved. And when people have bigger problems than you can go in and then your problem seems really small,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your challenge, your mindset is challenged and you don't have to spend so much time trying to figure things out on your own. But that idea of you are who you surround yourself with, you can't help but expand and grow just being inside the community if you're active, right? And it really is women supporting women. It is what I've always envisioned for women and how they should be supported
Yeah.
because it's hard and business can be hard. Like while we are freedom focused businesses and we're doing beautiful things, not many people understand what it's like to build a business. And the ongoing thing is like we always bring tissues because it's a safe place. And I think that's the best compliment I get is that this place feels so safe. And I think that's so important when you're growing a business. And yeah, it's real, it's raw, it's vulnerable. You have
Yeah.
the skills, like you have the coaching. I just feel like it encompasses everything and kind of like your one-stop shop. Yeah.
I love that. And like you said, there's nothing better than a safe space. And I think it's really beautiful what you said that you have brand new business owners and you
Mhm.
have people who have been doing it for a long time and are really successful. Like, as someone who is brand new, there's been communities that I've either joined or been interested in, but it's all people who, I mean, amazing for them, but who are already really successful. And it's like, I don't really feel like I belong, or like I have very basic questions that are at the beginning and they're so ahead that
Yeah.
it's not helpful, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And that doesn't happen in there. And in fact, we have something inside the business circle too that is the expansion mastermind, and you have to be inside of the business circle too. So if you're in there and you're like, I want that really close proximity and you want to be in that growth phase, like you can upgrade to that. And usually I charge like $6,000 or $7,000 for a mastermind, but by being in the business circle, you get it for 1,500 for 3 months, right?
That's amazing.
So yeah, and it's just really cool that nobody is rolling their eyes at like questions that
Yeah.
it's just not that everybody's jumping in going, "Oh, I got you here. I got you there." And yeah, I think that's really cool too that nobody feels left out. The only time someone's going to feel left out is if they don't show up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't I can't help them then, right?
No, exactly, exactly.
But yeah,
That's
it's
really
so
exciting. I
supportive.
know our
Yeah.
like mentorship is coming to an end in a couple months, so I'll definitely be in the business circle after that.
Yes, I think you would love it.
Yeah,
And
I
yeah,
think
and
so too.
the ideas and the creativity and just
Yes.
like yeah, you can't help but feel like you can take on the world, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I have one more
Mhm.
question before my final question. Um, so one thing that we really both have in common is the idea that success shouldn't come at the cost of your well-being. So I'd
Mhm.
like for you to tell us what or how you personally define success now.
Ooh, I love this question. So, my very first vision board, um, I had an image of me in my hatchback pulling up to the ocean with my hatchback opened and me working at the ocean with my pup by my side.
Yeah.
And that was my guiding post all while I was growing my business. And right now, success is twofold. I want to be able to enjoy this life and feel healthy while I'm doing it. Well-being to me is my number one priority
Yeah.
because I know what it's like to lose it.
Yeah.
One of my, I have this on a pottery mug that I give away to the ladies inside the business circle, but one of my mottos is self-care is a business strategy.
Mm.
And I live and I die by that. My father passed at the age of 59. I have his name on my wrist to remind me of that. So for me, there's no amount of money that would make me sacrifice my health.
Yeah.
So in terms of like a personal level, success is being able to do all of those things, go to the gym. But on a more business level, it's impact. There is, ooh, I just got emotional.
Yeah.
Um, there's nothing more powerful to me when I get my Voxer messages from my clients saying, Gina, because of this work that we've done together, I've been able to take this vacation with my family. I've been able to get up and have 10 a.m. work days. I've been able to make money while I'm hiking. And I see the quality of their life enhanced. This is so much more than business. Like it's to me, the business needs to happen and the structure needs to happen, but the goal all along is to help people have better lives and be better humans.
Yeah.
You know, when I became a teacher, I remember somebody asking me, why did you become a teacher? And my answer was to make better humans, like to help
Yeah.
people, like just be better humans. And I think that that's still there in the terms of like helping them be their fullest potential, for me to pour belief in them and to know that they can create anything. Like I always say, like your business, your rules, and to help women realize that they don't have to trade and that they get to have beautiful lives and beautiful businesses. To me, that's success. Like when my clients have success, that's success for me. And the more women that step into that, the ripple effect is just it's amazing, because then they can show up fully in their businesses and the people they get to touch. And
Yeah.
so it's always been about that.
That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. And I like what you said about like teaching and what you do now. It's like the guiding post or the why you're doing it has always been the same.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
it
It
looks
just looks
different, but it's
different.
always
Yeah.
been for the same reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that.
My heart is the guiding post of everything. And
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people try to tell me that I shouldn't grow a business with my heart, and I've given the middle finger to that, and I'm so
Yep.
glad that I did. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is the core of everything. I
Yeah.
give deeply, I feel deeply, I love deeply. My clients, I love them like family, and so many people say, "Well, that's not professional." Like,
Okay.
that's not who I am,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I
Yeah.
agree.
So always leading with heart. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna finish with my final question that I asked to all of my guests.
Okay.
What is your superpower?
Ooh, my superpower. I feel my superpower is helping women believe in themselves.
I
Yeah,
love that one. I would
yeah, I
agree.
really do. I just and breaking things down very simply.
You're
And
allowed
making
to
it
have
simple.
to.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel that is my superpower. And it comes like it's real. Like I just see so much potential in everybody, and I love it when, because I can see it, they can see it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. This was such a powerful conversation. I mean, I loved everything that you shared, but I really love that last piece that if you believe in them, they can believe in themselves too.
Oh, thank you.
So if people want to connect with you online, how can they find you?
I would say I hang out mostly on Instagram, Gina_Keeping, and my podcast is Keeping It Real with Gina Keeping. I pour a lot into my podcast, as you do, and I get a lot of people really loving it. So there's a mix of like some personal stuff and then business stuff and mindset stuff. So yeah, that's really where I hang out. And you can always just send me a message. I love to connect and chat with people. So if anything resonated, please come say hi, and I would love to connect with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Gina. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please share the episode, tag me and Gina with your best takeaways. We would love to hear them. And I remind you to keep choosing yourself, your vision, and your values. That is real power. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into the Empower L podcast. I hope today's episode inspired you and gave you practical insights to help you navigate your journey as an ambitious, high-achieving woman. Remember, every step you take towards building your confidence and embracing your full potential is a step closer to creating the life you truly desire. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps us reach more women who are ready to step into their power and live their best lives. Don't forget to join our community on social media for more resources, tips, and inspiration. Until next time, lead with power and live with wellness. You are unstoppable.